I am a woman who knows what she wants. And what I wanted was him. Aaron Blackwood, CEO of a powerful company, a man both feared and respected, charismatic, ruthless, and above all, dangerously seductive. I knew it from the first day. When I walked through the towering glass doors for my first shift as a receptionist, my eyes met his. I understood. He was a man who always got what he wanted. And the worst part? I wanted to be his next obsession. So, 3 times. 3 times when the air between us crackled with tension, when no words were spoken, but everything was said. The first time was in the conference room. I was handing him a file. His fingers brushed mine just a touch 1 second. But it was enough to send a shiver down my spine. He didn't move, but his eyes spoke for him. The second time was in the 6th floor hallway, a crowded space, just a fleeting moment. But his hand found my waist as we passed each other. I saw the burning heat in his gaze, but he said nothing. The third time was in the underground parking lot. He was leaning against his car, phone in hand. As I walked past him, his stare locked onto me. A silent challenge. You feel it too, don't you? I wanted to run. I wanted to throw myself into his arms. That morning, I should have been more careful. I should have avoided that elevator. But when I stepped inside, I was alone. Then he entered. Aaron? The steel doors shut, locking us in a suffocating silence. I felt his presence behind me, the scent of his woody cologne, the heat radiating from his body so close to mine. Then, a brush, a breath against my neck. My lungs froze when his voice whispered at my ear. You're playing with me, Elena. The door suddenly slid open. 2 executives stepped in. Silence fell between us. But their glances said everything. They knew. The first time it happened, it was late at night. I was only supposed to deliver a file, nothing more. But when I opened the door, Aaron was there, seated behind his massive desk, his jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up over his muscular forearms. He lifted his gaze to me, closed the door. I hesitated, just for a second. Then I obeyed. He stood slowly, his footsteps silent against the wooden floor. When he stopped in front of me, my heart pounded against my ribs. Tell me to stop? But I said nothing. So he pinned me against the desk. His lips burned against mine. And that night, he took me, roughly, fervently, on his desk, in his chair, against the glass window overlooking the city. I had become his most dangerous secret. But then the rumors started. Lingering stares, whispered conversations in the hallways. One day, I overheard a conversation in the break room. She really thinks he'll leave his wife for her? My blood ran cold. I confronted him that night. Aaron, they're talking. They know. He stepped closer, hands on my hips, his gaze burning with unrelenting desire. I'll handle it. But he did nothing. He wanted me, but he didn't want to be seen with me. The first time he hid me, a charity gala. He told me not to come, but I saw him there, posing with his wife for the cameras. Later that night, my phone buzzed. 14:02. Now. The second time, a business dinner. I was in a hidden lounge, invisible to the guests. But as soon as they left, he came to take me against the conference table, like I belonged to him. When I walked into his office that night, he was staring out at the city skyline. They know. My heart stopped. Who? The board. A lump formed in my throat. They asked you to fire me. Silence. Aaron. His eyes darkened. I'll handle it. A lie. My phone vibrated. Come see me. I can offer you a way out with dignity. James Carter. I lifted my gaze to Aaron. He was weighing his options. Me or his empire. Power or the forbidden. I took a trembling breath. Then, without a word, I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. His voice stopped me. Elena? I closed my eyes. Then I opened the door and walked out. Towards the unknown. Towards James Carter. Towards something even worse. The first call came at midnight. I ignored it. The second one at 2 a.m., then again at dawn. Aaron Blackwood never called. He commanded. He ordered. But that night, he was calling. And calling. And calling. By the end of the week, I had 27 missed calls. I blocked his number, but deep down I knew Aaron Blackwood never let go of what was his. And in his mind, I was still his. I wasn't expecting him. Not at my door, not at midnight. And yet, there he was, standing in the dimly lit hallway, rain dripping from his dark hair, his shirt clinging to his sculpted frame. His jaw was tight, his eyes blazing with something raw, something desperate. You blocked me. I swallowed. It was the right thing to do. He exhaled sharply, running a hand through his damp hair. Then why did you open the door? Silence. He stepped forward, crossing the threshold. My body tensed. His scent, wood, rain, and something entirely him wrapped around me, intoxicating. Say it, Elena. Say you don't want me. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. I tried to resist. I tried to push him away. But the moment his lips crashed onto mine, every ounce of logic burned to ashes. He lifted me against the door, his hands gripping my thighs, his body pressing into mine with an urgency I had never felt before. You think I can forget you? His breath was hot against my neck, his voice hoarse, rough. You think I can let you go? I clenched my fists against his chest, my head shaking. Aaron, tell me you don't feel this. My resolve crumbled. I pulled him closer, and once again, he took me against the door, on the couch, in my bed, until all that existed was him. Only him. The morning after, reality hit like a cold blade. Aaron was still asleep. Beside me, his hand possessively resting on my waist. His presence was intoxicating, but the weight of what we had done pressed on my chest. I had left for a reason. I had tried to break free, and yet, here I was. Carefully, I slipped out of bed, wrapping the sheets around me. As I reached for my phone, I saw it. One unread message from James Carter. You made your choice, Elena. Now deal with the consequences. My stomach twisted because I knew the consequences were coming. It started at the office. Whispers. Stares. Then an email from HR. Meeting at 3 p.m. mandatory. I didn't have to guess what it was about. When I walked in, the board was waiting. Cold faces, piercing gazes, and at the head of the table, James Carter. Miss Elena Lawson, your conduct has been brought to our attention. I felt Aaron before I saw him. He entered the room, his presence suffocating. This meeting is over. James smirked. No, Aaron, this is just the beginning. Tension crackled in the air. My pulse raced, because I realized something. James Carter hadn't been a way out. He had been a trap. And I had walked right into it. That night, Aaron's grip was like steel around my wrist. "What did you do?" His voice was low, controlled, but the fury simmered beneath. "I didn't do anything." "Oh, bullshit. James wants to ruin me, and now he has you." His words sliced through me. "Huh. I'm not a pawn, Aaron." He stepped closer, his chest pressing against mine, his breath warm against my lips. "No, you're the queen. But even queens can be sacrificed." My heart pounded, because for the first time I wasn't sure if Aaron was here to protect me or to destroy me. I had to leave, for real this time. No running back, no second chances. But as I packed my bag, my door burst open. Aaron. His eyes burned with a desperation I had never seen before. "Don't do this." I shook my head. "It's over." He grabbed my face, forcing me to look at him. "Say you don't love me." Tears pricked my eyes. "Love has nothing to do with it." His lips crushed mine in a brutal, searing kiss. One last time. Then I pulled away and walked out. The city lights stretched before me as my plane took off. I didn't look back. James Carter had given me a new job, a new identity, a new future. But deep down, I knew I hadn't left Aaron Blackwood behind. Not really, because some desires never die. They simply wait for the right moment to burn again. He was my forbidden desire, my greatest mistake, and maybe my only truth.
With two hearts in the dark, chasing whispers through the night, secrets buried in the stars, hidden in the pale moonlight. Every glance feels like a spark, every word just